So if you've spent any time online lately, I mean, you've probably seen it, right?
Oh, yeah, it's hard to miss.
This incredible leap, it almost feels like magic with AI video tools.
Totally. It's exploded.
Suddenly you can just type a sentence maybe and get a video back.
Yeah.
Or like create these digital twins, these avatars that talk to your audience.
Companies like Runway, Pika,
Yeah.
they're putting out amazing stuff. Synthesia, too.
And then Sora just arrived and completely, well, it blew everyone away, didn't it?
It really did. Just staggering capabilities, seemingly out of nowhere.
It feels like things are moving at warp speed. We heard from people like Maya, the small business owner.
Right.
She was telling us these tools saved her hours of filming time, turning complex ideas into videos in, like, minutes.
That's the promise, isn't it? Huge time saver.
It's a space that's just buzzing with excitement, like a genuine gold rush, actually. Sources we looked at indicate companies have poured, what, over $5 billion into AI video startups recently?
Yeah, massive investment. And the market's already big, like $1.8 billion in 2024, and growing fast.
But here's the really interesting thing, maybe a bit surprising, that came out of the sources we've been digging into. Despite all this wow factor, all this money, most of the current tools, the ones you're seeing right now, they're likely to be functionally obsolete in just like 18 months.
Wow, 18 months, that's incredibly fast.
It is. Think of it like this. Imagine you go out and buy the absolute best smartphone today, totally cutting edge.
Okay.
But, you know, for sure that by the end of next year, something fundamentally noticeably better is coming out that makes yours look, well, old.
Right. That's a powerful analogy.
Okay.
Right.
So our mission in this deep dive is to really unpack why. Why is this happening so quickly? What are the limitations holding today's tools back?
And what's coming next, presumably.
Exactly. We'll peek at what the sources say is on the horizon. And maybe most importantly, figure out how you, listening right now, can navigate this super fast changing landscape and, stay ahead of the curve.
Sounds good. We've got insights from market reports, expert analysis, case studies, lots to draw on.
Okay, so where do we start? The current landscape.
Yeah, let's look at that. The sources definitely paint a picture of that gold rush you mentioned. Over 300 AI video tools available right now.
300, that's a lot.
It really is. And it's led to, well, market saturation and also, maybe surprisingly, a lot of feature convergence. They kind of look the same.
Meaning they mostly do the same thing?
Pretty much. Many offer similar basic features like text to video. Around 95% of them have that. AI editing is about 87%. Auto subtitles maybe 78%.
So truly unique features are actually quite rare.
Very rare, yeah. Only found in about 23% of the tools, according to the analysis we saw. And what's fascinating here, thinking about that obsolescence thing, is the speed of improvement itself. I mean, visually, think about it. We went from those blurry, kind of jittery 2-3 second clips back in 2022.
I remember those. Barely usable.
Exactly. To early 2024, seeing things like Sora generate minute-long videos with complex movement, pretty good fidelity.
The jump was huge.
It was huge progress for this generation. But, and this is the key bit, they're still just the first generation. And it's precisely that blistering pace of development. Well, that's the main reason they're heading for obsolescence.
So the improvement curve is also the reason they'll be replaced quickly.
Paradoxically, yes.
Right.
They're getting better fast, sure, but the next generation is emerging even faster, built on fundamentally better tech.
Okay. Let's zero in on that speed. The sources call it the acceleration factor. We all know Moore's law, right? Computer power doubling every, couple of years?
Roughly, yeah.
But AI seems to be on a whole different clock. The sources suggest AI capabilities might be doubling not in years, but in just, 6 to 9 months.
Which is just wild compared to normal tech cycles. Hardware, software, nothing moves that fast usually.
So if we connect that to the bigger picture, this kind of acceleration means tools built today using the AI models available right now, they're going to feel ancient really, really quickly.
Incredibly quickly. There was a quote from Dr. Lisa Chen, an AI researcher,
Yeah.
or I put it simply. Basically, what took years in traditional software development takes months in AI.
Wow.
Yeah. She said, the foundational models being built today are so much more advanced, they will make current tools seem functionally ancient by the end of next year.
By the end of next year. That's the 18-month window right there.
Pretty much. And the sources also point out this isn't entirely new. There's a kind of historical pattern. They call it an 18-month innovation cycle in fast-moving digital markets.
Like we've seen this before.
Yeah. Think about the first smartphone app, boom. maybe 2008 to 2010, a huge explosion of apps then.
So,
Consolidation. Stronger platforms emerged, lots of early apps just vanished.
okay, I remember that.
Same thing with SaaS tools like project management software around 2015 to 2017. A big boom, then a shakeout. Consolidation again.
So this AI video gold rush, followed by rapid evolution, it fits a pattern.
It seems to. There's even a specific recent case study mentioned, QuickVid AI.
QuickFit, never heard of it.
Exactly. It launched early 2024, text to video, got some users quickly, but then bigger players added similar features, newer models came out, and it couldn't keep up. It shut down by March 2025.
Wait, March 2025, that's less than a year from launch to shut down.
Less than a year. It's a pretty stark example of just how fast this cycle can turn.
Wow, okay, that really drives home the speed. So we have this crazy acceleration, but let's unpack the specific reasons why today's tools, even the impressive ones, are sort of inherently limited. Why are they vulnerable to being replaced?
Right. What are the actual shortcomings?
The sources lay out 5 key limitations that really hold current tools back. First up, the classic uncanny valley problem.
Ah, yes, that creepy feeling.
Exactly, that feeling you get when something looks almost human, but not quite. It's just off.
And current tools really struggle with this.
Consistently, yeah. The sources talk about issues with human movement and expressions. You see jerky motions, unnatural gestures, or like faces that subtly distort or just feel dead, lifeless. There was an example given from Pika, a video of a woman walking when she turned her head. Her face visibly warped, just for a split second, but it totally breaks the illusion.
Right. That almost human but not quite vibe is a huge barrier for serious use.
Definitely. Second limitation, short duration limits. This is a big practical one.
How short are we talking?
Most current tools are restricted to generating clips of maybe only 5 to 10 seconds.
Okay, that is short. Fine for a quick visual maybe, but not much else.
Exactly. It severely limits using them for, actual storytelling, building scenes, anything longer than a quick shot.
And newer models like Sora are already pushing past that, right? Doing minute-long stuff.
Precisely. Sora's already setting a much higher benchmark, showing what's possible, which makes those 5-10-second limits look even more restrictive.
Okay, what's third?
Third, and it's related to duration, is their poor storytelling abilities. This was interesting. AI can generate pretty amazing images or isolated moments.
Yeah, we've seen that.
But it really struggles profoundly with stories, like creating meaningful sequences, understanding character arcs, building emotional narratives that connect shots together.
It doesn't grasp the why behind the visuals.
Seems like it. There was a quote from James, that small business owner again. He tried making a simple coffee shop commercial. The AI gave him beautiful shots of coffee cups, really artistic stuff.
Sounds good so far.
But he said, it couldn't create the emotional thread I wanted about people connecting over coffee. It didn't understand the story. It just gave him nice pictures.
Ah, okay. Big limitation for anything beyond just visuals. What else?
Consistency problems. This comes up again and again in the sources. Big technical hurdle.
Meaning things change when they shouldn't.
Exactly. Maintaining consistency between frames or between different shots in a sequence. You'll see weird stuff, like characters suddenly wearing different clothes.
Oh.
Or objects popping in or out of the background, or the lighting just shifting dramatically for no reason.
How does that happen?
Well, the sources explain it's often because the AI is generating frames or short chunks somewhat independently. It doesn't always have that holistic grasp of the entire scene over time.
So it's stitching together bits that don't perfectly match.
Pretty much. Newer models are getting better, but it's a core issue with many current tools.
Okay, and the fifth limitation.
Finally, it's about limited control and customization. This is huge for creators.
Meaning you can't really direct the AI?
Largely, yeah. The sources highlight users often can't easily control really crucial stuff, things like specific camera movements, pans, zooms, tracking shots, or precisely controlling the pacing, or choosing very specific visual styles with fine detail, or even just editing individual elements within a scene the AI generated.
So you kind of get what you get.
Kind of. You give it a prompt, it spits something out, but refining it or directing it precisely is often really hard or impossible. Fun for experiments, maybe.
But frustrating for serious production work.
Exactly. You need that control.
Okay, so those are the big limitations. But beyond just the tools themselves being flawed, what are the bigger forces pushing them towards obsolescence so quickly? What's really driving this shakeup?
Good question. It's not just about the tools having issues.
Right. The sources identify several key drivers here. One is just the absolutely blistering pace of foundational AI model development.
The underlying engine, basically.
Exactly. Think of the AI model as the engine.
Mhm.
Companies like OpenAI, Google, Meta, they are constantly building vastly superior engines. Newer models like Sora, like Google's Veo, they just offer dramatically higher quality, longer duration, more complex abilities straight out of the box.
So tools built on older engines just can't compete.
They get left in the dust unless they can somehow rapidly integrate these much newer, much better engines. It's tough. The sources even mention the Red Queen effect.
From Alice in Wonderland. Running just to stay in place.
Precisely. For these AI video tool companies, they have to constantly upgrade their core tech, their engine, just to avoid becoming completely irrelevant almost overnight because the state of the art is moving so incredibly fast.
Wow. Okay, what else is driving it?
Another huge force is what the sources call the integration imperative. Basically, big tech moving in.
Ah, the giants. Google, Meta, Microsoft, Adobe.
Exactly. They are aggressively building AI video features directly into their existing massive platforms. Think Creative Suite, Google Workspace, maybe Canva.
Which millions or billions of people already use.
Billions. And the sources explain why this is so powerful. First, it offers better workflows. Everything's in one place. You don't need a separate tool.
Makes sense.
Second, they leverage their existing data power. All the data within their ecosystems helps them train and refine these AI features. And third, it's just sheer convenience for users.
Yeah, you have to ask yourself, right, if similar or maybe even better AI video stuff is just there in the software you already pay for and use every day.
Why would you go pay extra for a standalone tool that might not even be as good or as convenient? It's a huge challenge for the smaller players.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What other drivers are there?
Well, there's the harsh reality of high compute costs and business model viability.
The cost of actually running these things.
It's massive. Training these complex AI models, sources estimate millions of dollars. And just running them, generating the videos, that costs money too for every single video. Maybe $0.53 per minute generated is one estimate mentioned.
So the companies providing the service are burning cash.
Many startups are, yeah. They're often operating at a loss, banking on venture capital funding and hoping to get huge fast.
Risky strategy.
Very.
Yeah.
Because if they can't get way more efficient computationally or find a sustainable business model where users pay enough to cover those high costs and make a profit.
They just run out of money.
Exactly. The sources are pretty clear. They eventually run out of money and have to shut down. And it was mentioned that VC funding for AI startups generally saw a dip, like 30% in 2024. That puts even more pressure on.
Okay, so the economics are tough. What else?
Rising user expectations. This is a big one, too.
People want more now. The initial wow is wearing off.
Pretty much. Just generating anything from text was cool at first, but now users, especially businesses or creators trying to do actual production work, they demand more quality, more control, and more reliability.
Makes sense. It needs to actually work well.
Right. There's a shift described from like early adopters, maybe hobbyists, experimenters who were okay with bugs.
Yeah, they like tinkering.
To more mainstream users and businesses. They need tools that are dependable, that actually help them do their jobs better, create professional results. They're asking, okay, why should I actually use this specific tool? What problem does it solve better?
Kind of like how digital cameras evolved, maybe. Early ones were novelties, but soon everyone expected high-resolution, good features.
Exactly like that. The bar keeps getting raised.
Any other big forces?
Yeah, ethical and regulatory hurdles are mentioned too. Concerns around deepfakes, misinformation, copyright issues, bias in the AI. These are becoming bigger deals.
Stuff that needs serious safeguards.
Definitely. Tools that don't have robust ethical frameworks and transparency, as the sources put it, could face legal trouble, new regulations, or just users turning away. Things like clear labeling, maybe using standards like C2PA become important.
Right. And one more.
And finally, there's the open source juggernaut.
Like stable diffusion for images, but for video.
Exactly. Powerful open source models are emerging for video too, and what they do is commoditize the basic features like simple text to video.
Meaning free alternatives pop up that can do the core job.
Potentially, yeah. Or at least low-cost ones. If free or community-driven models can do the basic task reasonably well, then commercial tools have to offer something significantly more valuable, a much better interface, unique advanced features, top-notch reliability, speed, support. something to justify the cost.
So open source just accelerates everything and ramps up the competition.
Absolutely. It accelerates innovation and increases competition, pushing proprietary tools to either get much better or risk becoming irrelevant.
Okay, wow. So that paints a really clear, maybe slightly daunting picture of why the current tools are on this 18-month clock.
It's a confluence of powerful forces.
But here's where it gets, like, really interesting and actually exciting, right? This shakeup isn't just about tools dying off. It's making way for something much, much better.
That's the upside, the next wave.
Yeah. The sources give some fascinating glimpses of what's being developed right now. The next wave of AI video, what are we talking about?
Well, one big area is truly multimodal AI systems.
Multimodal, meaning?
Tools that don't just understand text prompts. They'll integrate text, images, existing video clips, and sound all simultaneously when they're creating or editing video.
Oh, so you could give it instructions using visuals and audio cues, too.
Exactly, leading to much richer, more integrated, more controllable results, hopefully.
Cool. What else?
Long-form video generation, moving beyond just seconds.
I talked about Sora doing a minute.
Right. The next wave is aiming for several minutes of consistent, high-quality video from a prompt, potentially enabling, AI-generated short films or significant chunks of video content.
That would be game changer.
Huge. And also, real-time generation is on the horizon.
Real time, like instant video.
The goal is interactive creation. Instead of typing a prompt and waiting minutes, maybe hours for it to render, imagine watching the video take shape instantly on your screen as you type or adjust instructions.
Oh, wow. Like sculpting video live.
Kind of. A much more iterative, creative flow.
And what about that uncanny valley problem? Are they fixing the weird movements?
That's a major focus, yeah. Researchers are training AI on much better data, including things like motion capture data, specifically to get perfect human movement and realistic expressions.
Less creepiness.
Hopefully much less. There was a quote from Dr. Marcus Lee, a computer vision specialist. He basically said, those jerky, weird movements in current tools, they're being directly tackled. That almost human but not quite feeling, it should largely be gone in the next generation of models.
That's huge for adoption.
Absolutely critical. And crucially, the next wave promises much, much better control and editing tools.
Getting beyond just the prompt and hoping for the best.
Exactly. Users getting precise control over things that are currently locked away, like specific camera angles, detailed lighting setups, the ability to actually edit individual objects or characters within an AI scene.
And blending AI stuff with real footage seamlessly.
Yes, that too. Seamless blending is a big goal. The sources also briefly touch on things like hyper-personalization tailoring video for specific audiences automatically, and better human-AI collaboration within complex workflows, tools focused on specific industries, and just better interoperability so different tools work together.
So a much more powerful and usable future is coming.
That's the vision, yes.
Which brings us to the really practical question for everyone listening. How can you prepare for this rapid change, this disruption? What should people do?
Right, this is key. The sources offer some really practical, strategic steps for adaptation. They break it down a bit.
Okay, like short-term, medium-term, long-term.
Exactly. So short-term, like right now, they strongly advise avoid long-term subscriptions.
Makes sense. If the tool might be obsolete soon, go monthly.
Go monthly, or use free tiers if they offer enough. More importantly, focus your energy on learning the core concepts, not just memorizing one specific tool's buttons.
Like understand prompt design, AI video principles, stuff that transfers.
Precisely. Those skills will apply to the next generation of tools too. And for now, maybe use AI for parts of your projects, not the whole thing start to finish.
A hybrid approach. Mix AI with traditional editing.
Yeah. It reduces your reliance on any single tool's current flaws and limitations.
Okay, that's short term. What about medium term?
Medium term, they suggest things like building your own prompt library.
Saving good prompts that work well.
Yeah, and developing that skill of prompt design, learning how to really talk to the AI effectively. That's super valuable and transferable. Also, network. Get involved in AI communities online or off.
Stay informed. See what's new.
Exactly. Keep your finger on the pulse. And experiment across multiple platforms. Don't just learn one tool.
Play the field a bit.
Kind of.
Hmm.
There was a quote from Jamie Rodriguez, a content creator. He said he tests basically every new tool he finds, even if most aren't great.
You learned something.
He said, each one teaches me something new about how these systems think, which helps me work better with the next generation of tools when they arrive. Broad experience helps.
Smart, okay, and long-term strategy.
Long term, it's about being discerning where you invest your time and maybe money. Focus on platforms or ecosystems rather than just narrow point solutions.
So tools from the big players, Adobe, Google, Meta, are probably safer bets.
They're more likely to survive the shakeup, integrate the newer models, and stick around, yeah? Compared to a small, single-purpose startup. Also, look for signs of continuous improvement.
Tools that get updated regularly and significantly.
Right. That shows they're actively keeping up with the underlying AI progress. And value things like open standards and good export options. Don't get locked into a tool where you can't get your work out if it disappears.
Avoid data jail. Good point.
And most importantly, long-term. Focus on developing your uniquely human, transferable skills.
Like storytelling, creative vision.
Exactly. Storytelling, prompt engineering know-how, solid editing fundamentals, understanding your audience deeply. The core message from the sources really boils down to future-proof your strategy, not just your tools.
Focus on the goals, the creativity, not just the specific software.
Precisely. The tools will change, but those core creative and strategic skills endure.
So thinking about those enduring skills, given all this tech upheaval coming, what does it really mean for the human role in creating video? What skills definitely won't become obsolete?
Yeah, the sources are quite clear and frankly reassuring on this. Certain human skills remain absolutely essential. They're not going away.
Like what, specifically?
Well, top of the list is creative vision and storytelling. The ability to craft genuinely emotional narratives, structure compelling sequences, develop a unique style, inject meaning. AI doesn't do that authentically.
It can mimic, maybe,
Yeah.
but not originate.
Right. Also, cultural understanding. AI struggles with nuance, context, the subtle things that make content resonate with specific groups or cultures. Humans bring that.
Ethical judgment, too, I imagine, especially with deepfakes and stuff.
Hugely important now. Making responsible choices about how to use these powerful tools, spotting and mitigating bias, dealing with the potential for misuse that requires human oversight and values.
And just knowing how to blend it all together.
Yes, strategic integration. The skill of knowing when and how to best use AI-generated elements alongside traditional techniques to achieve a specific creative or communication goal. That blend requires human direction.
So it's about collaboration, not competition.
Exactly. There is a great quote from Sarah Johnson, a video producer. The key isn't to compete with AI. The enduring advantage is in knowing how to collaborate with it.
I like that. Okay, that brings us towards the end of this deep dive then.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
The main takeaway from all the sources seems pretty undeniable, doesn't it? These current AI video tools, yeah, they're impressive, they're evolving fast.
But they're largely a first generation.
Right. And most will likely be functionally obsolete, maybe in just 18 months or so.
Driven by that incredibly fast AI development, their own limitations, and those big market forces like integration and costs.
But, and this is important, the sources don't frame this as like doom and gloom. It's not discouraging, really.
No, it's presented more as an opportunity, a transition phase.
Exactly. The tools that do emerge from this shake-up, the next wave, they're going to be so much more capable, probably easier to use, better integrated.
Yeah, the future tools promise a lot more power and control.
So for you listening, the path forward seems to be about staying flexible, right? Investing time in learning those transferable skills, prompt design, storytelling, core creative stuff.
And really focusing on leveraging your unique human creativity and judgment. That's where the real value lies.
The sources kind of leave us with this final thought. It really puts a point on it.
What's that?
The 18-month countdown to widespread obsolescence. It's basically already started.
Food for thought.
Yeah. So are you ready for what's coming next? And maybe the bigger question is, how will you leverage your unique human skills to thrive in this new landscape?